So how many black men out there put their foot down with a black woman, and the only thing that happened was she just became more defiant? Once we see she's refusing to cooperate, we are not wasting another moment of our time with her. Why, hey, this is Raulh, please act right. This young lady has a question for black men. She wants to know why black men are allowing black women to run amok, and why we're deciding to go to other countries instead of dealing with them. Before we get started, I'd like to give a special thanks to PA and Anthony Hurt for your generous contribution to my channel on Cash App. Please know that you are greatly appreciated. I see you out there, PA, and if you'd like to contribute, I'll put the link in the description box below.
Black men, this is for you. It's not to hurt you, it's not to disrespect you, but yeah, we need to talk. So, there's a black man who lives in Thailand, and he's basically promoting and telling black men why they should come live in Thailand, because the women down there are more submissive and respectful. He basically said, well, in a video, he has a beautiful woman in the video. Like I said, I love looking at beautiful people because I love admiring beauty. But in the video, he's showing how the woman is very submissive to him. And I have a question for black men. How come every other race of man has this woman in check, but y'all?
I have a better question. Why is it that every other race of women have themselves in check, but y'all? I'm noticing once again a trend that's going on with women, even the younger ones now. Notice how it's the women that are not in line, but she's asking the men, why aren't they doing something to get the women back in line? Now, what are the women told when the man won't do right, when the man won't get in line? Other women will tell that woman, leave him, and find one who will. But when the woman won't do right, it's the man's fault. The man has to make the correction.
The Asian man, he got his woman in check. Even though white women scream that feminist bull, they know who their leaders are. It's their men. The Arab man, he got his woman in check.
Every one of those races of women that she's speaking of are deciding to stay in that position. It's those particular black women that are deciding not to. Black men have absolutely nothing to do with that.
But they call black people the minority, and that's not true. But the definition of a minority is a minor. And we all know what we gotta do for a minor. You gotta feed the minor, clothe the minor, keep a roof over the minor's head. You gotta think for the minor.
I've said this in a video before. The majority of black women that you hear saying, I don't need a man, I can do it all by myself, I'm not submitting to a man, are repeating what they hear other black women say. The majority of them, they're not thinking it all the way through. What did she just say? You have to think for a minor? Because the black women you hear saying it can't think for themselves. And you know what would happen if they did think for themselves, especially if they spoke out loud. The sisterhood would let them have it. You don't believe me? Just ask Pink Book Lessons, Danica Marie, The Crimson Cure, Chantel Simone, Dee Dee, Sarah Lena, and a host of others. These black women think for themselves, and they get called all kinds of names by guess who? Black women.
So black men, you claim you want to be the leaders, but yet you let another race of man think for your people, and you wonder why your women are dysfunctional, why your children are lost. The same people that raped your woman in slavery are the same people that are employing her, writing her checks, and teaching her how to disrespect you.
Back in the 70s, when black women started getting welfare, the intention was to use welfare until she could get back on her feet. Once some of those black women found out that the more children they have, the more money they would receive, and the only way they can continue to get the money is if there was no man in the household, they chose the government subsidy over the man. Thus, the birth of the single black woman household becoming the norm. Then, black women were told they didn't need a man to make it, so some of them decided to go into the workforce. As the years progressed to now, it was the black woman who decided to work. The black man had very little to do with it, except for the ones who got a black woman pregnant and ran off. But this was the plan that the powers that be put together over a century ago. And those particular black women fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And they still are till this day.
Black men, you got a lot of work to do in your community before you could be thinking about running your ass to Thailand or somewhere else, to another country, or trying to be with another race of women.
Well, sweetheart, this is coming from a black man who tried to build up his community. Those of you all who have been following me for a while, you know that I've been in real estate for about 25 years. I tried to build up my community. And let me tell you this from experience. Black men cannot build up a community if the black woman does not back him up. Single black women in the community will allow their sons to break into the house that we're rehabbing, and the entire neighborhood will say that they saw her son do it. When you confront her about it, she'll curse you out and tell you where to get off. Trust me, I've been there a couple of times.
Y'all can't even get your own woman that's a reflection of you to submit to you and respect you. That's an issue.
You're absolutely right. This is an issue. Any black woman that is a reflection of me, I should not have to get her to submit to me. If a woman can't recognize a good black man versus a pookie, that's on her. This is something that she should have been taught at home by her mother or her father. And if her mother raised her by herself, did her mother raise her to be submissive? A man can't make a grown woman do anything she does not want to do.
He's still stuck on level 1 talking about, well, why the black woman won't be submissive to me? Because you got fucking scared. That's why you scared to put your foot down with her.
So how many black men out there put their foot down with a black woman, and the only thing that happened was she just became more defiant? Once we see she's refusing to cooperate, we are not wasting another moment of our time with her. Why? Because we have no interest in raising a grown woman who should already know better.
I don't hear no other race of men arguing with their woman talking about, well, she won't let me lead. That's because they take that shit. They say, go sit your ass down. I'm leading. I'm the captain now, basically.
And that's where the underlying problem is. Too many of these type of black women that she's speaking of want to be and act like men instead of acting like women. She even admits it in the video in a few minutes. She says black women are looked at as the most masculine women on earth.
And I noticed this as well. I noticed when a black man dates outside his race, he treats that woman that's not a reflection of him better than a woman that is a reflection of him.
And that's mostly because the woman he's dealing with is being submissive and cooperative. Those of us who are good black men out here, we have tried and tried to treat women that we dated well. Unfortunately, those same black women refuse to be cooperative, and many will continue to be combative throughout the relationship, even when being combative is not even necessary.
I noticed when a black woman dates outside her race, she automatically gets submissive to a man that's not a reflection of her.
And that right there tells us that black women can be submissive. She just decides who she wants to be submissive to. This actually has nothing to do with race. It has to do with that particular woman's mindset. Some black women have had bad experiences with black men, so they treat all black men the same way, with anger that came from a bad experience that she had with a black man in a past relationship. Other black men are not responsible for fixing her or trying to get her in line. That's something she needs to fix through therapy on her own.
And I don't think real black women realize this. You are looked at the most masculine woman on this earth. So when a man outside your race is dating you and he sees that, oh, she's submissive, she respects me, she lets me lead, I conquered her.
See, she said that black women are looked at as the most masculine women on earth. If a man from another race feels like he's conquered her when she becomes submissive to him, then he can have her. The good black men who have it together are no longer putting any of his energy into trying to make a black woman to get in line with being submissive. Here's a perfect example of why black men are not interested in trying to get black women to fall in line. Do you remember this from a couple of years back? This was a Chinese nail and hair salon where the Chinese man put his hands on a black woman. Well, a black man found out about it, and the next day he went to the shop, went inside, and confronted the Chinese people there. He then went outside and decided to make a lot of noise on social media so that people would know they were going to boycott this Chinese nail salon. He started throwing bricks through the windows and shattering them. The police came and arrested him. The very next day, the Chinese owners did a half-off sale, and black women showed up and got in line. Black men were protesting, and they had signs sitting there telling the women what was going on, and they just completely ignored them. They didn't even care what happened to the black woman the day prior. All they cared about was getting their discount. And look at this one right here. She even went so far as to get belligerent enough that she wanted to fight the guys, telling them she had nothing to do with what happened to the black woman the day prior. And this happens time and time again throughout the United States. Black men that try to help black women are gonna have a problem trying to help black women if black women don't even care about each other. As much as I hate to say it, There's gonna come a time where black men are not gonna come to the aid of black women.
To the black woman that made sure I got safe in my car at this ratchet ass, ghetto ass gas station when that man was catcalling me and not leaving me the f alone, I appreciate you. And to the black man that stood there and was laughing at that shit, this is why we don't like you now.
And the sad thing is, the black women who do value black men, they're gonna suffer too. Because black men are not gonna know the difference of which black woman values us versus the one who don't. Well, this young lady is young, so she doesn't see the whole picture like she thinks she does. I, on the other hand, have been around for a long time. I've watched more and more black women decide to go their own direction. And men like me no longer have the will or the desire to want to help them fall in line. The most men like us do is make videos and put them on social media. For those black women who want to fall in line, cool. But for the ones who don't, they're on their own. I know this young lady has good intention, but I'm afraid it's too late for those particular type of black women. Even if all the black men in the world band together to do right by black women to get them on point, the black women who choose to go their own way will still do it. And there's not a damn thing we black men can do about it, except go to another race of women. And not one of us are gonna have any shame doing it. Hey, somebody had to tell you, and I love you, so it might as well be me. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to get notified when I post a new video. I post a new video every week. And in the meantime, will you please act right? My name is Raulh. See you in another video. So if you enjoyed this video, check out one of these two videos right here. I'm sure you'll enjoy them too. And if you like, you can visit my channel. I have plenty of videos there. Go ahead. Don't be scared.